The Wisdom Tree. In the quiet village of Willowbrook, a young boy named Leo lived with his family. He was known for his curiosity, his playful energy, and unfortunately, his tendency to ignore the advice of elders. Leo believed that older people were too slow and stuck in the past. They don't understand how things work now, he often said, brushing off the words of his grandparents and the village elders. One day, while wandering through the fields, Leo noticed a path he had never seen before. At the end of it stood an enormous tree with golden leaves. Intrigued, he walked toward it, unaware that it was the sacred wisdom tree the elders always spoke about. The stories said that the tree only spoke to those with respect in their hearts. But Leo laughed at the tales, thinking, "It's just an old tree. I'll be the first to prove them wrong." As he touched the bark, the tree began to shimmer. A soft, ancient voice whispered, "Young one, why have you come?" Leo jumped back, eyes wide, but quickly recovered and said, "I want your secrets. Tell me everything you know." The tree sighed. "Knowledge without respect is like water without a cup. It spills and disappears." Leo rolled his eyes and demanded answers, but the tree remained silent. Frustrated, Leo returned to the village and told everyone the tree was useless. The elders only smiled and said, "Perhaps you weren't ready." Their calmness annoyed Leo even more. He decided to return the next day, determined to find a way to make the tree talk again. This time, he brought a recorder and a notebook, ready to take notes and show off to the village. As he approached the tree, he noticed an old man sitting quietly at its base. "What are you doing here?" Leo asked rudely. The man replied, "I listen. The tree speaks when you're silent inside." Leo scoffed and sat down beside him. Hours passed. The man didn't move, didn't speak. Leo grew restless and finally left in frustration, his notebook still empty. At home, Leo's grandmother noticed his sour mood. She didn't scold him. Instead, she invited him to sit and told him a story about how the wisdom tree had once saved the village from a terrible drought. "Because we listened, we learned where to dig a new well," she said. The tree shared its knowledge because the elders asked with respect. Leo couldn't sleep that night. He thought about his grandmother's words, the old man's stillness, and the tree's silence. He began to feel something new, maybe even guilt. The next morning, he returned to the tree, this time without a recorder or notebook. He sat down quietly and whispered, "I'm sorry. I didn't understand." The golden leaves rustled, though there was no wind. A warm glow surrounded Leo as the voice of the tree returned, softer this time. "Understanding begins when pride ends," it said. Leo listened with his heart. The tree shared a story, not in words, but in feelings and visions. He saw the history of his village, the struggles, the wisdom passed down. For the first time, Leo felt connected not just to the tree, but to the people who had come before him. He saw how much they had endured and how their knowledge was born from experience. He returned home quietly, and for the first time, he sat with the elders, not to challenge them, but to listen. Their stories now felt like treasures. The villagers noticed the change in Leo. He was calmer, more thoughtful. When younger children ignored their elders, he would gently guide them back with a story or kind reminder. The elders, too, began to share more, feeling seen and appreciated. The village, once divided by age, started to feel more like a family. One day, the old man from the tree visited the village. He smiled at Leo and said, "The tree has a gift for you." In his hand was a single golden leaf. Leo took it with reverence, the man added, "It's not the leaf that holds power, but the heart that values it." Leo nodded, fully understanding now. Leo planted the leaf in the village square. Soon, a small sapling sprouted. The villagers gathered, watching it grow. Slowly, a symbol of unity and respect. He named it the listening tree, and every week people came to sit by it, not to talk, but to listen. To nature, to each other, and to themselves. Years passed. Leo grew older and became an elder himself. Children came to him for advice, and he always began with the same words, "Let me tell you about a tree." His stories carried the same lessons he had learned, that wisdom is everywhere, but it only comes to those who are humble and respectful. One afternoon, Leo sat under the original wisdom tree. It was now larger, its golden leaves brighter than ever. He closed his eyes and whispered, "Thank you." The wind swirled gently around him, and for a brief moment, he heard the voices of all those who had once sat beneath the tree. It felt like coming home. Leo passed away many years later, surrounded by people of all ages who had grown to love and respect him. The trees he had planted stood tall, their leaves whispering his legacy. In Willowbrook, it became a tradition to visit the wisdom tree on one's birthday, to sit in silence, and to remember that the truest knowledge begins with respect.